There are 4 things you can do to avoid ending up at the Landlord Tenant Board Tribunal. Hi there, I'm Nawar Naji, a real estate broker in the city of Toronto. If this is your first time visiting my YouTube channel, make sure you click on subscribe and that bell button to get notified of my weekly video updates. I just came back from the Landlord Tenant Tribunal for the first time ever since owning an investment property for the last 12 years or so. And I have to say it was an eye-opening experience. 4 things stood out for me that every single real estate investor needs to do to avoid ending up at the Landlord Tenant Tribunal. First, owning an investment property is owning a business. And I tell this to my real estate investors all the time. When you're buying an investment property, you're not buying a house, you're not buying a condo, but you're buying a business. And you have to think of it as a business, which means you have to have systems in place, such as checklists, regular maintenance, and proper documentation. The second point is if it's not in writing, it doesn't mean anything. So one thing I've noticed in the hearing that I attended today was whatever the landlord or the tenant presented to the judge or the guys doing the hearing, everything had to be in writing. The person kept asking, do you have that in writing? Was this documented? Do you have an email? Do you have the proper form? Do you have invoices? Do you have pictures? So everything needs to be documented, and any verbal agreements, any verbal discussions really don't hold any water, and it has to be documented. So if you are to have a verbal discussion or agreement between the landlord and the tenant, make sure you follow up with an email or some type of documentation to record that conversation. Third is play by the rules. We all know things have changed. So since April 2017 with the Fair Housing Plan, there have been additional changes made to the Rental Act where landlords have to pay the tenants 1 month if they need them to vacate the place, and they cannot turn around and rent the place for a period of 12 months unless they're moving in or a direct family that's moving into the unit. So the hearing that I attended was, I don't know, I have to say it's pretty interesting because I don't know why, but this landlord thought it was a good idea to evict the tenants, give them the N12 form, say, I will be moving in, and then turn around within, I think it was within like 6-7 days later, turn around and rent the unit to a specific rental, furnished rental company at a much higher rate. I have no idea, but I don't know why this person thought it was a good idea. Again, the rules might not be fair, or we might not like the rules, but we have to play by the rules. It is what it is, and we just have to follow the rules. Otherwise, these landlords can face some significant fines. And quite honestly, it gives the, maybe it's 1%, 2%, I don't know the percentage, but that small percentage of landlords give the rest, the 99%, a bad reputation. And this what causes these governments to come in and bring in more rules and more changes that are against the landlord. So play by the rules. That's the way it is. The 4th point is the lease agreement. So this is very important, and the reason is the new standard lease agreement that kicked in April of 2017 with the Fair Housing Plan is pretty generic. It doesn't cover much. It leaves a lot for interpretation, and this is why having a thorough, very detailed lease agreement is critical. So I'll give you an example. I just signed a new tenant for one of my rentals last week. My appendix or schedule was 12 pages long. So I use the standard form, which is mandated by the government, but then my schedule was 12 pages long. So do not leave anything to chance. Again, everything needs to be documented, and it needs to be outlined in that lease agreement and the schedule to define the relationship between the landlord and the tenant. And it's good for both parties because both will have a clear understanding of what they're getting into and not have a gray area where, oh, I thought this is covered, I thought this is not covered, I thought this is my responsibility or this is your responsibility. So again, having a very detailed lease agreement with schedules is critical in operating your investment property. If you're a real estate investor looking to invest or own a portfolio, please feel free to connect. I am happy to discuss with you your portfolio, or if you're looking to invest, I'm happy to help. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And until next time, happy investing.